podcast this time around. I don't know how many people will be with us live, but here we are. We just found out that Obsession released a couple bows. We can talk about that. We can talk about the little shoot from this past weekend. And I had somebody ask me, how far will a bow shoot if you shoot it up in the air?
What's up, Samuel?
Let me get logged in here.
Let's see.
If it's your first time here and you're watching this after the live feed, click the old subscribe button. It'll help us. And we normally have a podcast that comes out on Tuesday, and most of the time it's not live. And then we do a live Thursday feed most of the time, and then Sunday we have another video come out about a product review or whatever. Here we go. I just popped up on here finally. So hit the old subscribe button. We'd appreciate it. What's going on, Muddy Ducks?
What up? I am trying to find.
TJ's trying to get her logged in.
I'm logged in. Let's do this.
I need to look.
They came out with a DEFCON M2 FXL
Woo.
and a Final Pro X M2. So basically they're taking some of their older bows and revamping them.
For the DEFCON M2 FXL is a 34.25 inch bow, and the Final Pro XM2 is a 38.5 inch bow. I'd like to shoot that 38.5 inch bow. Let's see here.
I imagine it's going to kind of shoot like the Final Pro X, like the one I had.
Yep. Looks like they both got a 7-inch brace height. They're making an SD cam. That's interesting. Looks like they're doing, see that, you can get American flag limbs. That looks sharp.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. We didn't do one Thursday. I was out of town. What's going on, Steve? Thank you for watching. We try. Hopefully we got some, on Sundays, some bow review videos coming up soon. And then I was thinking this morning, we're going to bite the bullet. And we're going to get our broadhead test that we've been talking about set up on Saturday. And I might even make a video of us, I mean, not like a specific broadhead test, but just what the deal is. Well, we kind of been wanting to set up a test the sharpness, the durability, the deflection, all that stuff of different broadheads. So we're going to do it. That's our project for Saturday.
Uh-oh. You got to remember, I might not be here Saturday.
All right. We'll be doing it this weekend somehow. But yeah, we didn't pre-record a podcast, so we just thought we'd hop on and chat with everybody. Let's see who's on.
What's
here.
up, Matthew?
Somebody had asked, how far will a compound bow shoot? And I think they're meaning like distance, you know what I mean? Now, I hadn't exactly, this would be a good video probably. I hadn't exactly tested this in quite some time, but I know, you know,
that one time that we done it,
years ago, I mean, you're looking at probably 400 yards, roughly.
We tried it this was before the biscuit come out, and I remember at the old shop over to Mom and Daddy's with that field back there.
Mm-hmm.
What was the Q2, I think it was?
Yep.
It was like 330 yards
Mm-hmm.
is what it finally.
Maybe we ought to, I don't know where we'd do it at, but we ought to get like a recurve and a couple compounds, maybe a crossbow or two, and try that one day. But Jeremy, I did, let me check my email. I don't think I heard back from him. I know he was, let me look right here.
Samuel says he thinks Dudley did a video.
Okay, I'll have to look.
He said not long ago, and he says about 500.
Okay. Yeah, because when we did that, that was 4
Yeah,
years ago.
yeah, maybe a little longer than that.
I don't see a response. I know that sounds weird, but I may Snapchat that rep because for some reason he loves to communicate via Snapchat. I don't like communicating via Snapchat because you can't save the conversation, but I'll see if I can get a hold of him. Let's see here.
What else?
We've talked about this a good many times, but wanting to kind of talk about the difference in a limb-driven and a cable-driven rest.
Muddy Duck said, what about the tumbler?
I think we're almost at the end of the month. I think I'm going to send one more email, which will be 3 or 4 at this point. And if he don't respond, because it was Jeff somebody.
Lightfoot, I think.
Yeah. I'll do it while we're on here. If he don't respond, I guess in pretty much a week, we'll be redrawing. Because he's had ample opportunity.
Yep.
Alright, here's where I emailed him last. I'm going to send that same email. Send. I think what we'll probably end up doing is, let me look at the calendar. It'll probably end up being April the 1st, we'll give away the broadheads, and I got them linked in the description. If you're watching it within the next week, we're giving away a pack of rocket broadheads. There's a link to go put your name in for that. That'll be on the 1st, and then if we still haven't heard from him, I guess I can announce that night. We can either just go, I guess we'll just go ahead and redraw that night, because we got everybody's name still. We'll just redraw for it too that night, and I mean, at this point, I doubt we're going to hear from him, but I'm trying to give him every opportunity. I've never heard of him, like as far as being on our live feed, so I don't know where he came from, but...
Got a buddy wanting to sell a carbon element. What's the chances I could find draw mods for it if I need to change them?
There's a good many floating on eBay and Archery Talk. That's not one of the harder ones to find. I don't think you'll have too much trouble.
And you can check with your Hoyt dealer.
Yeah, I know they can still order them new.
Yeah.
Bo dipping full draw and to fix it. You mean like you're holding low, or like on the shot you're dipping? Which is that kind of what you're trying to? I set my hunting bow up one time without a peep. I put a kisser button, but the only trouble I had was like on an extreme downhill shot, like out of a tree stand. I was having some inconsistency. I don't know. I guess it's just the way the anchor point was working. And I hunted with it a little bit, and I went back to the peep. But I mean, for the most part, I had good luck with it.
I remember running that old the rifle sight, the Intimidator or Eliminator or something like that. I run it for a little bit without a peep.
Yeah.
I guess when I just went back to pins, I just went back to a peep.
Yeah. We still get a few people through that don't shoot a peep. What was I going? Oh, somebody talked about the limb driven versus cable driven. Usually, what we tell people is, with the cable driven, you know, if your cord stretches a little bit, it definitely affects rest timing. With limb driven, now the cord's longer, it is going to stretch, but all you got to do is pull it and tighten it back up. It's not a big deal of like pulling it through the cable or a football and messing with it and all that stuff. And it's just simple. Like with these prime bows, they got on the axle, they've got
the post where the axle is extended.
Yeah, post, that's the good word, that's what I was looking for. So we just make a loop and hook it on there, and if you need to do anything, you just unhook it, it's a piece of cake. But we started shooting limb driven a couple of years ago and really liked it and have kind of stuck with it. But there's still a lot of QAD people out there, and that's perfectly fine. So, but if, you know, on my personal stuff, I've went limb driven. Yeah, without a peep, if I was going to do it now, I'd probably go nose button and kisser button, you know, and of course my regular anchor point. But yeah, I like the Hansky. So that's what I've been. I got to put this on my my newest prime. I'm putting one of these Trinities. That's what I got on my, sitting over here, my Black 9 bow too. It's built like a tank. It's solid. Hadn't had any trouble whatsoever.
But yeah, if I was going to go peepless, I'd definitely kiss her nose button now, just to have those reference points.
Yep. Let's see here.
Trying to think.
Somebody said, is there a string material that gets better performance than others? Material wise, not really. I mean, like, you got just a brief rundown, like BCY X99 is our most popular. It's sort of a mix of everything, best of both worlds. And you got 452 and 454, which is on paper the least stretchy, but also it's a bigger fiber, and sometimes people say it sprays up a little quicker. And then you got stuff like Mercury and the regular Bloodline that don't have any Vectran, which is what reduces stretch. So you get that in the heat, you might have a little bit of movement. So that X99's got like 20% Vectran, 80% Dyneema. I know that don't mean anything, but it's just got, to me, the right blend of no stretch, and it's the same with the Vec99 for Bloodline, sort of the same thing. Yeah, I'd say, like I said, the only time I didn't like the no peep was if I was going to have to make a pretty hard shot out of the tree stand, because it was so, it just shifted everything on me, and honestly, the way I fixed it temporarily, I don't remember if I took like a silver sharp. I put a little dot on the string to where, like, if I'm in some weird position angle, I can at least reference that dot of where I should roughly be looking at. But that was just how I did it. And 99 or 95% of the time, it wouldn't be a big deal anyway, because you're not making a lot of super down, like that. But
yeah,
just in case. But yeah, we've had a lot of questions about Bloodline string material lately. It's, pretty much, we hadn't had any trouble out of it. It's very slick. A lot of people's asked, should I wax it or not wax it? From what we can tell, the company says you don't have to, but I think most people are adding a tiny bit of wax at some point. So that's, I think, a preference type of deal. I noticed the one we made for somebody, I think it was hitting their arm or something, and tiny bit fraying up, so they waxed it, no big deal. But
I wonder, with it being they say it don't have any wax in it, but I wonder if that liquid wax that Scorpion makes
I don't know.
would be the way to go to put on there instead of like
Might be.
just a regular bowstring wax.
Might be. But it's I think people are wanting like a white and black answer of it's great or we hate it, but it's really just it's a good material. I don't have any complaints, but I don't think it's any better than anything else either. So
I had a guy call the shop today, and he was asking about it, and I said, as far as personal, I said I just put a set on a couple of my bows. I was like, I really hadn't had time to shoot them and see how they I run X99 and 454, 452. I know how they do. I said I just haven't got many shots on them. So from my personal experience with them, I said I can't tell you yay or nay right now because I just have put some on.
Well, I know we've sent out a lot at this point. Nobody's called and said, "Oh, we hate this material,"
Yeah.
So that's probably a good thing. What I feel like the biggest benefit with no wax would be in that material, the bundle should stay about the same. We're not like, you get a orange, it's way bigger because all that wax creamed in there, and we're trying to get it out when we make it. Maybe it'll all kind of be more consistent. Let's see, bucket shoot, stopper. What bow is it? Just out of curiosity. Is it the loop that's bare, or is it actually the cable where it's rolling onto the module or the cam? What's going on, Scott?
What up?
We see some people come in and like, which there's a diamond bow. Is it the Carbon Cure or something? The
Outlaw.
Outlaw. I don't know what it is. Just the way they design that module and the way it rolls over, it will eat up some serving, but not on the loop. It'll, you know, it's up on about 3 or 4 inches up, and it just loves to eat them.
It says the Revolt X.
The Revolt X is a little bit harsher cam. I've seen some of the serving get eat up. You know, like it's actually where it's hitting the spot on the cam where it's giving you the let off. These around the ends of my bus cable is completely bare. It's hard to say without seeing it. I mean, if it's bare, you might want to be careful. If you think about it, send us a picture of it. You can email archershack@gmail.com. Probably the easiest way. We can take a look at it.
What up, Richard?
But it's just, you know, like I say, it's according to exactly where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on, Richard? Let's see, so that, I'll make a look and see who else had a question here. Somebody said, what is the most common center serving finish diameter? Somewhere between a 110 and a 112 is roughly the most common. You get into some of the smaller target knocks and you can get into like a 108, 109, but yeah. We had a bare bow, or TJ had a bare bow come in the other day, only a couple months old, factory strings and all that, but it's already eaten up, you know, like all those rough spots on the cam where it rolls over and all that, it's eating it up pretty good. Yeah. I know I had a Revolt X come in 2 weeks ago and it was pretty chewed up too. A lot of the Bowtechs, and of course if you got it in like performance mode, it might chew a little worse than in, you know, but in comfort or whatever, but you know, they're a little bit more aggressive, I guess, and they tend to eat on some cables.
Trying to think of which other bow was bad about eating right there.
I know that one diamond bow would just, I think it was a design deal.
It may be the Carbon Cure. It might not be the Outlaw. Maybe the Core.
Maybe it was the Core. And then that dang Quest, what was it, a Rogue?
Yeah.
We had so much trouble with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we the deep impacts are good stuff. We keep a couple boxes here. I will slowly, I doubt I'll do one every single week because I'll probably mix it up a little bit. But my plan is to slowly go through the Black Eagle complete lineup, you know, and pick an arrow, do my little spin test, weights and all that stuff. So hopefully over, you know, the next couple months we'll get them all out there. I noticed one of our best watched videos is that one where I did all the Black Eagle arrows, but it was it was sort of rushed and whatever, so I figured like a one-off of each one, taking our time would be good.
I really wish, one of the reasons I don't shoot the deep impacts is they have an outsert. I wish they would come up with like a hit insert from Easton.
Yeah.
You know, something like that, because that big outsert just, I don't know, it just looked kind of gawky to me.
Let's see, what's going on, Matt? If I come to Anderson, yeah, if you come to Anderson, come on in. They announced Utah tack dates, single Kimbos, yeah. I know back in the day or whatever, I think it was the regular switchback, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It might have been XT, I don't know, but I know Jason Long, a buddy of ours, his factory cable got ate up, and I think different draw lengths affect it differently, but I think he was a 29 or 29 and a half, but his factory cable was gone like that, and then I made him one, it started eating into it. Then I used a smaller serving, a bigger serving. I tried all kind of stuff, and it just kept on and on and on. I was like, man. And I think we ended up trying that serving saver or something on him just to make it work. But
Because
I don't know if it was just that cam or just that draw length or what, but it just tore that thing up good.
I remember when I had mine, I had a 29-inch cam, and it ate through it. But when I switched it over to the 30, it didn't do it as bad.
Yeah.
It still ate into it. So I don't know if it was just that 29-inch cam that was causing it.
Well, it's like that road we were talking about. On certain draw lengths, it was fine.
Yeah.
But whatever draw length that one fella had it on, it was just like it would not deal with it.
It ate cables.
I don't know. Let's see here.
Because I don't remember it being that bad on Outback.
Somebody sent in, do we use arrow wraps, and what are our thoughts on them? I like an arrow wrap because you can see the back of the arrow. They don't really weigh much at all. You can get, you can get as fancy as you want. We use one stringer. Don't put anything on it you want. But just a good bright wrap and a good bright fletching for hunting is what I like. So I'm a fan.
Most everybody just runs a solid white. I mean, I've run solid whites. I ran some orange and whites. I've run all kind of different ones. And one good thing too, if you run a wrap while you're, deer hunting or whatever you're doing, it gives you a good blood indicator in case, like, let's say you make the shot and you think, oh man, I don't know if that was a decent shot or not, but you get down and, at least you've got with that wrap, you've got an indicator. It's like, okay, it wasn't a bad shot. Something, optical illusion, something, just a bird flew by when you shot, something like that. So, let's see. Matthew said his XT did the same thing, and James said he runs solid white also.
I can't remember, but when I had my XT, and I think mine was I want to say a 27.5-inch draw. I don't remember mine eating the cable, but I can't really remember. But I feel like I would remember if it was an issue. It could just be certain draw lengths. Let's see here. Somebody said, in general, what is the oldest used bow you would buy for a good starter bow? I'd say really 7-8 years. You get to about that 10-year mark, and a lot of companies will stop making parts. I think we've told this story before, but there's a Brood X hanging in there. Somebody dropped off, and it's a super popular bow. Still see a lot of them and all, but the guy had messed his cam up, and we called, and they said, well, we don't have them or make them anymore. And then we had the rep call a couple shops that might have them laying around, and we couldn't find it. But I'd say 6, 7, 8 years is kind of the. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of bows 15 years old that are still great. I'm just talking about as far as if something happens and you need to get a part, you got to be careful.
Plus you might look up and find it on eBay or Archery Talk, but that's getting, let's say like the switchbacks and the switchback XTs, Outback, from what they've been, 04, 05, 06. Those parts are getting a little bit harder to come by. But I'm still seeing some people having Z7 Extreme parts just laying around.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Golden Eagle Evolution. I was thinking, somebody posted a picture the other day of a Golden Eagle, and it was the one where the freaking limbs had that big block that set them out from the riser. And I hadn't seen one in a couple of years, but for a while we'd still have them come in. But the Golden Eagle stuff and just all them old bows, Jennings and Golden Eagle. The good old days. Oh, that's cool. I have to look. On their Instagram.
Good old Insta.
I don't know. We had to order some bloodline material last week. They just shipped today. It took them a little while. Usually they ship it quick. I don't know if they're getting behind or what. Oh yeah, the old XI bows. I hadn't seen a good old Keller pendulum sight come in a while. We used to still see a few, and now it's been 2 or 3 years.
We did have one come in the other, but it was a Trophy Ridge one.
Yeah.
Can't remember what they called that one.
The Oregon Bow Company, all them good old bows.
Mm-hmm.
Point Blank.
Whatever happened to Whisper Creek?
I really don't know. I hadn't really thought. I know J&S, I think, sold them up in Easley back in the day, if I remember right. I don't know.
And then Limb Saber quit making their bow.
I don't know who was actually making that bow for them. And it's funny because it was a big combobulation of strings and cables, like a 7 or 9 piece set, but it shot pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Is he really on Facebook? I'll have to find him. I've been getting a kick out of watching them old Fitzgerald videos. I forget what the page name is, but somebody sent it to me and I followed it. And it's got all them old early 90s and stuff, videos of him doing all his stuff. I like watching that.
Mm-hmm.
I had a Carbon Extreme XLR one time. I don't remember who. I took it in on trade, matter of fact. This was probably, 20 couple years ago now. I think I restrung it and sold it to somebody. Okay, he sent those. Haha.
What's up, Adam?
Yeah, that was the first one I seen with him with that tree stand. I was laughing. He chopped them old back straps right out of there and just flipped his seat up and went to town cooking. I thought, man, I don't know. It seems like after doing that a while, it might weaken that metal up.
Samuel said when he started watching, he said it was Roger Ragland.
Yeah.
When I first started, the only one I can remember watching, it used to come, it was a local channel here. It's still on in the upstate, but it was channel 16 out of Greenville. And it was on Monty McGuffin, the Carolina outdoorsman. That was the first one I started watching.
Let's see here. He sent me a picture of that serving.
What's it looking like?
Bringing it up here.
Ooh.
Okay.
Is it?
Ooh, yeah, that's I'd be careful with that. It's around the
Where it makes that?
sharp kind of turn.
Yeah.
Look right here. See.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's eat up good.
Yeah, she's ate up real good.
That's one of them I no joke would probably.
Yeah, I'd replace them big time. I wouldn't almost be saying take a Q-tip and maybe run around that track right there and maybe see if there might not be a bird that caught that serving, because
Yeah, that's got it good. Real good. It's definitely eating into the fibers itself.
yeah. But when you go to change it or whatnot, I'd definitely take a Q-tip and just run it and make sure there's no burr that might have snagged that serving.
I've got a picture somewhere. I don't think it's hanging in here. I have to look in the house of me and Chuck Adams. I've met him a couple times. trying to think. In the early 2000 shows, I met a bunch of them boys. I can't remember. I have to dig through and find my pictures.
Is it hard not to get swamp slime on your bus cables?
You gotta watch out for that swamp slime.
Yeah.
Them dang Bigfoot will come out, and it's on. Yeah, I always really liked Chuck Adams. If I was Hoyt, I would somehow bring him back into the fold. I'm not saying he's got to go do all the. I mean, I'm sure he's still active as far as I know. I hadn't really kept up with him or heard. See if he's got a page on Facebook. He probably does.
I know he was still writing columns for, what is it, Bow Hunter magazine?
Yeah. But I think that would do them some good to get him back kind of in the fold, because he was always.
James says they have a hunting show in Pennsylvania, biggest on the East Coast, and they are always here.
Chuck Adams.
Bigfoot's too busy getting ready for the R100.
I wish we had a Bigfoot we could put out here. We look, them things are like $2,000 or $3,000
Yeah.
to get the big boy. We're like, oh no! And then
Oh,
they,
yeah.
for a couple of years there at the ATA show, they would give one away. They'd have they'd give everybody a key, and they'd have like this lock around it, and whoever's key unlocked it. And I was like, TJ, what are we gonna do if we win this thing? Put it on the roof and try to get it home? Because I mean, it ain't no way you'd ship it. It
What
is
was
huge.
Not this year, but last year we went up there. I remember breaking out the whole bag of ratchet straps and taking with us just in case.
Because that'd be something like the story we'd have. Could you imagine going down the road and a Bigfoot strapped to the top of a vehicle?
Buddy Duck says she shot a Bigfoot.
But
Well, that's kind of like the story when we went and bought our targets for the range here.
yeah, this was what, 2015, I think.
I think so.
14, 15, I think it's 15. A club in the state was kind of going out, so we bought all their targets. And I had called them and I was like, what do we need to bring? A trailer, just a truck? I didn't really know how many they had and that sort of thing. And they were like, well, they said a truck would probably work, but, and I was like, well, it was a 2 or 3 hour drive. We'll take a trailer. We get down there and we loaded. We couldn't have fit another ounce. We had targets on the trailer, way up, back of the truck, in the truck.
Yep.
TJ whoops out a bag of about 8,000 ratchet straps and has straps going all over the place. We getting all these looks going down the road, elk and bear and all this stuff hanging out, but
we got them home.
That would be a good advertisement. What we need is one of them little smart cars.
Oh man.
We'll put the Bigfoot on top, wrap it in Archeryshack, the car in Archeryshack wrap and ride around town. I'm sure that would get some attention.
Oh yeah.
But that was something else.
Mm.
I remember this would have been like 96. I went down to the Atlanta Bass Pro, 97, it might have been a lot after that, but I went down to the Atlanta Bass Pro and we bought a couple 3D targets and was hauling butt up 85 and the wind got up under one of the boxes and blew it out and the deer or whatever went sliding across 85. We pulled over and I was like, oh Lord. But we got it out, it messed it up a little bit, but one of the clubs over here at the Bigfoot target. Yeah, I think when we shot the Bigfoot at the Total Archery Challenge, it was around 100 yards, if I'm not mistaken.
The Bigfoot target,
Yeah.
it was at 88, 90 yards, something
Yeah.
like that, if I remember right.
I've always said we should get an old limo, wrap it in Archershack logos or whatever, and then when we go to the locals or even any shoot, load up 8 or 10 people and we all pull up and get out with our bows out of the limo. I thought that would get some looks.
Oh yeah. A a stuffed coat that hangs off the tailgate.
But yeah, we've another fall off the truck story. There was this would have been about 3 years ago. Some local fellas was putting on this hunting thing up in Walhalla, about an hour north of us, and we loaded the truck down. I was like, they had a little chute, and this all got food, chute, giveaway, all this stuff. I was like, we're gonna load her down. We loaded it up. I mean, we took a bow press, aerosol. We wanted to be able to do it all because we knew if something broke, nobody'd be there to fix it, type deal. And there was a lot of people there. Anyway, we get about 10 minutes up the road and start losing boxes. And one of my neighbors started coming down through there. And that year we had ordered from Black Widow Deer Scents. They make these things called hog balls, and it's these little scent balls. Anyway, it looked like the Daytona 500, and there was a crash. There was stuff everywhere. He come down through there. He said, "Good God, I thought I was going to run off the road and crash." And we out in the middle of the road grabbing all this stuff, and hog balls are everywhere.
Yeah.
It was something else. Let's see. I found Main Street Anderson.
I'm almost wondering if that might not have been my daddy.
My uncle had a good story about. I think he said it was in the 70s or early 80s, but he had a Volkswagen, and he said they had went to the gun range, and he said the whole back of this thing's full of guns and ammo and stuff, and said he pulls up the McDonald's window, and they're looking like, good God, you know. He said it was a stack full of guns, and he said about then the dang seat broke, and it laid him back, and he said he did a burnout through there, and he said they were looking, didn't know what was going on. But who else? Somebody that came in here back in the 80s said they had a deer in the trunk of a car, and it came to life at a fast food place.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name.
And they were all free. I can't remember the story.
Let's see.
Hats. I was thinking about this a while ago. I got to get with my wife because she was going to make us all these shirts and hats and all this, and she hadn't done it yet. I'll give y'all her number. I'm kidding. Start texting her. We need hats.
Let's see.
30 issues are a bit different. The same pegs. Anything up to 100 yards plus. We used to be unmarked here until, well, it's been a while now, and then all of a sudden it was just like a couple clubs offered known yardage, and bam, that's all anybody would shoot. And we tried probably 4 years ago. Somebody said, "Hey, why don't you do an unknown yardage shoot? You know, it'd be fun, whatever." And I was like, "All right, we'll give it a shot." And I really put it out there, and we had like 3 people show up because nobody would shoot unknown. I was like, well. That Bigfoot, he's a fast little dude there.
Yeah.
You gotta watch him.
Well, that's like the other year when the R100 come to Georgia over here. People called the cops because there was a giraffe at the bridge, and they said they asked if there was a zoo in town or something.
Something like that, yeah.
But there was a giraffe under the bridge.
Big overpass of a thing, and they put that giraffe right there beside it. People were freaking out. But
yeah, I remember the days of the deer being strapped down on the hood of the Volkswagen.
I enjoyed unknown, but at the same time, it was almost like if you couldn't judge yardage, it didn't matter how good a form you had and all that. If you can't judge yardage, you can't do nothing. So, I mean, I liked it because it added another element. But I also told TJ, I feel like with known, they might, especially with the pro classes at these ASA shoots, I think they ought to be out at 80 or 100 yards because, you know, they're that good and, you know, they know the yardage and all that. And I know the OMP or whatever kind of does that, but 50 yards is not that far for a professional shooter or whatever. I mean, I think you've seen all these super duper duper high scores. I think they ought to stretch it out and even it back out.
well, me and you've talked about this before. The whole, well, you get into the whole debate of unknown versus known yardage.
Yeah.
Well, to me, and people might disagree with me and everything, and that's fine, but the yardage, so it puts a lot more pressure on you to actually make the shot. And you get, and I ain't saying that unknown is not as easy as it can be, because I shot unknown and it ain't, and I'm not the best judge of yardages.
What I would hate, I'd do all my tricks. I'd be like, all right, that's 27 yards or 37, whatever. I'd pull back, and then I'm sitting there in my head, I'm like, you know what?
That ain't it.
It's in a bright pasture. All right, let me, and then you'd be like, man, I had it right on there, but I second guess myself.
That's the biggest thing is there, and I mean,
I guess in general, for the majority, it's better to have known, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I said, it is, I'm going to say known is a little easier because it does take out that guesswork on the yardage, but it also adds a little bit more pressure back on you as the shooter to make that shot. And it's...
With the unknown, Sam, it was weird. Like, if you go to the shoots, like the rules said, you had to cover up your sight tape so nobody could see it. You couldn't, if you were caught discussing yardage, they would disqualify you. And so it was a big, I mean, I remember like on my slide bar, I had like a Velcro strip that I would peel up and set my yardage and then peel it back down so nobody could see it. And then you got into all, like, some people would make it where you could barely see theirs, but then people would like move it a couple yards and sit their bow down where everybody could see it, and then people would be, you knew they were looking.
Yeah.
And then they'd shoot high or low, and they didn't copy that yardage. But
I was gonna say that was the biggest thing, because I don't think that first slide bar I had, I didn't have the cover to go over my sight tape. So after I'd shoot, I'd just sit there and maybe twist my knob a couple times, get it off that yardage if it was a good, if I had my yardage right or was close. But that's what I would do. And like I said,
and then going back even further before sight tapes were even a thing, you're on a slide bar, your 20-yard, you'd have a cheater sheet. Your 20-yard mark might be 32.5 on your slide bar, and then your 25-yard, you had to go back and forth. And then I guess Archer's Advantage came out sometime around 2000-ish, was when a lot of people started printing them off, and then you had to cover them up, and then you would kind of listen and see how long somebody's arrow took to get there. You'd go up there and just guess it, and then you'd kind of look at trees and stuff and add up numbers. It was a mess. I enjoyed it, and I don't know, we've shot known so long, like I still wouldn't mind going to a few unknown shoots, but
well, I still try to guess, even with known, I still try to guess yardage before I hit it with a rangefinder. But yeah, I'm not knocking any unknown, the people who like unknown. Like I said, I'm not knocking anybody.
Yeah, before the fat carbons came out, I was a 2312 man. Well, really, when I was a teenager, 2212, 2213, and the X7, and I went 2312, and then the Carbon Express, whatever it was, CXL came out. I shot them. They were real brittle, but it was kind of the thing. I guess that would have been around 01 or 2. I went to them. But yeah, it's and then, for a while it was a big mixed thing of a lot of unknown and known yardages, and then like it was awkward because the known people couldn't say nothing about the yardage because the unknown people might hear it, but now around here at least it's probably 90% plus known. We had a little 3D spot pop up. It's probably been 5 years ago now, and they were all unknown. They were real big on this is unknown, that's it. And I did enjoy going down there to shoot some just because it was different. But if I'm going to shoot where I got to guess the yardage, I'm going to go out in the yard for a while. I'm going to look at trees and this and just kind of get my yardage guessing game on. And then what I used to do was kind of keep a notebook, and I'd be like, all right, on average, I'm 2 yards hot or all, whatever. And then when I got to the chute, I'd be like, I need to just go ahead and take 2 yards off because this is the way it's been going. But gotta go teach some youth archery. Have fun.
Yep. But yeah, I wouldn't mind shooting unknown again. But
it's fun to mix it up every now and then.
It
But
is.
it's a whole different beast.
it is.
And I think it was '03, the first known yardage we shot, and we were like, this is weird.
Yeah.
And then it was down at Myrtle Beach.
Yep.
Just a few years later, everybody's shooting known, and I was like, what in the world is going on here? But now we're used to it. But
yeah. It was weird being unknown, shooting unknown. All of a sudden, that was the first known shoot, and we're like, okay.
Because I feel like the yardage guessing was almost as crucial as the shot execution. You know what I mean? Like, it's a big deal, and the people that could really, really, really judge yardage, they had it going on.
Yeah.
I wonder in 10, 20 years, like with ASA shoots, will there even be any more unknown classes?
I think you're still going to have the unknown. I guess you can say the unknown is for the purist, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
And I mean, and like I said, people get in heated arguments over unknown versus known. And
Well, and for a while the big argument was, when you hunting, you might not know the yardage or whatever, but now if so many people's got a rangefinder, it's kind of, I hadn't heard that one lately.
Whatever you want to shoot, as long as you're out having fun shooting a bow, that's all that really matters.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go find us some dinner.
Yep.
I don't know where y'all are. It's 7 o'clock here and about time to eat. But it was good chatting with y'all. Unless something crazy happens, we'll be back Thursday night for a live chat. And then we'll go from there. But thank y'all for tuning in. We normally don't. I thought about tacos myself. I hadn't decided. I text my wife. She didn't say. She said she didn't really care. But I thought about some tacos myself.
I think we're having pizza pasta. I think it's
Or a pizza would be good. See y'all later. We'll see you Thursday night.
Yep, we'll see y'all.
Thanks for tuning in.